From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
'92, I think it is this Saturday. Going to be a huge one there, so we'll talk about that later in the week. Any NFL news last night? We talked about Ezekiel Elliott for a half second. Saw the breaking news on the show yesterday. Later that night, last night, Dalvin Cook goes to the Jets on a 1-year deal, and I believe Breece Hall comes off of the PUP today. So Jets loading up, obviously. Offense trying to get as much firepower there as they can. I think Dalvin Cook still got a lot left in the tank. Obviously, just a situation of running backs. I don't want to say it's undervalued. Obviously, that's the word people are using, but there's just a lot of them, and their shelf life isn't very long. So I can't, with the current rules and the current way it's set up right now, I cannot blame teams. I cannot blame the running backs for being upset. But the drop-off in production obviously warrants that team, the lack of drop-off in the production. It's not a giant gap between stud running backs and the average running back, unfortunately for them. So something's going to have to change. But as for how it's currently operating, I think NFL teams are going to continue to do it until something changes. So obviously a couple big-name guys. One in Ezekiel Elliott, who I think could bring a lot to the table in Patriots. Not so much the case. He's still got something left in the tank. But as far as Dalvin Cook, I mean, he played 17 games last year. He's got 4 straight seasons over 1,000 yards. So I think he's still got something in the tank, and I think that's going to be a huge asset for them, along with Breece Hall, assuming he is healthy, ready to go week 1 there. So aside from that, I'm drawing a blank on anything else that happened in NFL circles today or last night. I see Micah Parsons left practice with a leg injury. Hopefully he's all right. But aside from that, I don't think anything too crazy was going on there. So a little Hard Knocks action tonight if you're a fan. Week 2 of Hard Knocks for the Jets. Caught the first one. Was it was Hard Knocks, so we'll keep going with it. But nonetheless, let's talk some baseball. Last night we had some good looks. We had a couple misses for sure. Had a really nice look that I remember talking on the show. The Royals get the plus money win over the Mariners. That one was a goofy line for sure. Rockies was another one that I was leaning on. The home team rocks. Not as strongly. I was pretty firm on the Royals in that one. Home team rocks get it done, though. Let's see what else. I was wrong about Sandoval. I like I said, it was a big hesitant, big question mark, and I definitely was not diving into it. But I was hoping that was the last time, and now parlaying into this one, no pun intended. Sandoval getting going for the Angels there, and that obviously didn't happen. Rangers win 12-0 there. Braves take it to the Yankees, and I think the Pirates was the one that I was wrong about. The Marlins was the one I believe I was leaning towards the Marlins. Pirates was one that I was just flat out wrong about as well. So, roundabout way of saying not a bad day on bases last night. So, try and turn that around into tonight's slate. We've got I want to say a full slate, if not an entirely full slate here. So we've got, like I mentioned, we got plenty of rivalries going on tonight, or at least a couple. One in Chicago, one in this great state of Ohio. Actually, those might be the only two. So a couple of good ones there. The other ones still got some playoff implications on both sides of things as opposed to the Chicago one. So let's start right there. Cleveland at Cincinnati is the first one up at that 5:40, 6:40 time slot. Logan Allen versus excuse me, that's a mouthful. Allen versus Ashcraft. Allen, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run last time out. Ashcraft, 3 hits, 1 earned run over 7 innings, 1 walk, 7 Ks. He was very good last time out. I don't believe these two. I think these two were off yesterday. Reds won the series over the Pirates. Over the weekend, after their ugly stretch, they are 3.5 behind the Brewers, 1 behind the wild card. That final wild card spot. And this Guardians team still 4.5 behind the Twins, still lurking a little bit. Need some offensive firepower to get going, to get really be a threat to the Twins there, regardless of how the Twins play. They did show some life against that Tampa Bay team in that series this past weekend. Lose 2 out of 3, but 8, 5, and 9 runs scored. 8-9 loss, 5-6 loss, and then a 9-2 loss on a 9-2 win on Sunday for them. Like I said, this Reds offense themselves turned things around, win 2 out of 3, 9, 2, and 6 runs scored. So you're kind of coming into this one. The wind, I believe, is blowing out, and you've got a 9.5 game total on this one. So it kind of leads me to believe that at least one of these guys is going to regress, if not both of them here. You had the Cleveland actually opened as a favorite in this one, so I'm going to respect that. Say that Ashcraft might have some time to regress, and I've been saying it. I'm almost at a point where obviously they get rid of Savali. They don't have as much firepower, but it's been too many times, and this is maybe not a crisp gambling strategy necessarily, but too many times in my lifetime has this Cleveland team been in a spot like this where their offense just on paper isn't good, and then they get blistering hot for 2 weeks, and they find a way to take the division or ruffle some feathers, whatnot. So I'm as crazy as it seems to take the 950 with how solid the Twins have been lately, and now mediocre to bad this Guardians offense has been. I'm almost curious and taking a little swing on it, and also leading me to saying I think their offense stays awake tonight. You got this 3-game stretch this past weekend where their offense was good. And I think you can see it again tonight. So I'm going to go with the Cleveland victory tonight as well as far as a betting angle, I might be more interested in making it tough to get into it. -107 is the best price. I see a couple spots at -120. I think it gets over that 4.5 today. With how good Ashcraft was last time against this Cleveland team, if he was going to have a good night and this Cleveland offense wasn't going to have a good night, I think that total would be at 3.5. So I'm interested in Cleveland going over that 4.5. Maybe Logan Allen is bad, and that's the reason why you stay away from the money line. But at the end of the day, I think Cleveland gets it done tonight, as well as at the very least getting over that 4.5. So I am leaning towards Cleveland tonight for sure. Marlins hosting the Astros again here for the second straight day. Javier versus Cueto. Javier, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs last time out. Cueto, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs last time out. Has not quite been quite as solid as he was in this type of role for the White Sox last year. Right now here with the Marlins. But the Marlins are heating back up after a rough stretch. They beat the Astros 5-1 yesterday. They've got the last wild card spot currently, I believe, above over those Reds and Cubs. And they've won a couple series in a row against the Reds, and this past weekend against the Yankees. Talked about it yesterday. Got the big momentum win late on Sunday in the late innings of that game. And this Houston team, 1 run in each of their last 2 days. A little stymied these last couple of days. You've got a flat 9 in this one. I really don't know what to make out of this one. You've had, I think this is right about where it opened up, maybe teetered a little bit, but open -130. I see Astros -120 now. So with the Marlins at home, I think that's just a fair number at the end of the day. If you're someone who likes back in the Astros after a couple off days, then this is a great spot for it. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Marlins just keep this momentum going right now. Wouldn't surprise me if Johnny Cueto's got something up his sleeve. Maybe I became a little bit of a homer for him last year, but like I said, hasn't been fantastic in this role that he's similar role to what he played last year with the White Sox. He's now here with the Marlins. 5.33 ERA. This is sixth start in a row, I believe. After he comes in opening week and then goes on the shelf until July. Hasn't been great the last three. I think we could see a good Johnny Cueto start. And so, maybe you just stay away from this one altogether, but that's kind of where I'm leaning, as a good Johnny Cueto start. Maybe even Marlins first five is what I'm leaning towards here on this one. So we'll move past that one. I'd be a little weary on it. If you had the Marlins yesterday, you don't want to, you kind of want to take your money and run from that one necessarily. But at the end of the day, I'll lean towards the Marlins first five there. Boston and Washington, Pivetta and Gray on the mound for this one. Pivetta, 4 hits, 2 earned runs last time out. Gray, 6 hits, 4 earned runs last time out. Nats get the sweep over the weekend over the Oakland A's. They've actually been, we've talked about it here, they've been extremely pesky. They've just been flat out good since the All-Star break. Maybe taking over a little bit of a weak schedule, but nonetheless, they've been above, last I checked, and obviously after the sweep, I believe they are above 500 after the All-Star break. And I think they're only a game behind, for what it's worth, doesn't matter, but a game away from putting the Mets in the last place of the NL East, which would have been crazy to say at the opening of the season here. So Red Sox take care of the Royals and the Tigers in their last 2 series. That's 5-2 in their last 7 games between those 2 teams. And they are 3 out of the wild card right now as well. So I don't know what to make out of this one. I think this is just a fair line with the Red Sox on the road here. Minus 168 with a 9.5 total. With the way this Washington team has been playing, I don't really want to go against them right now. Their offense is pesky. Depending on what you get from a pitcher, they could just have the advantage outright altogether in any given game. Gray has shown some flashes. He's got a 3.69 ERA, so he's shown some flash, and he can get lit up for sure. He can get a little out of control, but he has shown some flashes. So I'm staying weary on this one. Maybe hoping that. I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm a little weary on this one. I'll lean towards the Red Sox taking care of business. Their offense has been good. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Nationals had something up their sleeve today. So I'm going to stay far away from it. But I certainly am not trying to lay the price against this Nationals team the way they're playing right now, especially going back home here today. So Philly and Toronto is the next one up. Should be a good series here. Wheeler and Kikuchi on the mound for these two. Believe they were both off yesterday. Wheeler, 7 hits, 3 earned runs last time out. Kikuchi, 1 earned run or less in each of his last 5 starts. He's been really good lately. This Jays offense was actually pretty quiet this last week. Did score 11 runs on Sunday, but before that had been pretty quiet. Maybe some wins, but maybe some really low scoring wins. They've got, I believe, the last wild card spot in the AL right now. The Phillies were cooled off by the Twins, lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins over the weekend. They're still in top wild card spot as far as I'm concerned. You got a total of 7.5 in this one with the way these two pitchers are pitching / what they just are in general. I think that is the right move there. Doesn't say anything too much to me there. Philly, their offense especially was cooled off these last couple of days. Saturday and Sunday, 1 run and then a goose egg. So curious to see if they wake up a little bit and turn it around here against Toronto. Curious to see if Toronto goes back to what they were last week against Cleveland and Chicago. Just really didn't have much offensive firepower. Lost 3 in a row at one point there, 3, 2, and 4 runs scored. And then obviously they get the big number on Sunday for an 11-run game. But at the end of the day, I'm just staying far away from this one, waiting to see how this one plays out. This one opened at Philly as a minus 145 favorite. So I'm going to honor that. It's down to close to a pick. I'm going to honor that and go towards the Phillies here. And honestly, kind of towards where I'm seeing this Toronto offense this last week. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. I'll lean towards the Phillies, but I'm kind of interested to see how this one goes, and maybe we can find something else to do the rest of the series this week with that one there. We can skip over Pittsburgh and the Mets. Obviously, I was wrong about it yesterday. I maybe you want to go back to the Pirates if you listened to me yesterday. I guess that actually would be the way to go. You got Bailey Falter on the mound, though, for Pittsburgh. Start number 3 with them. 8 hits, 4 earned runs last time out. Peterson has gone no more than 4 innings lately. So if you had to do something on this one, I would go back to the Pirates, I guess, again, because they've just been playing better in general lately. And if you went to them yesterday, you lost. You got to go back to them again, if anything here. So I'm definitely not laying the price with the Mets at home in this one. But Bailey Falter scares me. That one could be really ugly. It's only a total of 8.5, so that gives me a little optimism there. If it was 9.5, I'd be a little more concerned. So I'll lean towards Pirates again, but. It wouldn't surprise me if Bailey Falter gets lit up pretty heavily there. Severino and Elder on the mound for the Yankees and Braves. Braves take it to them yesterday, 11-3 win. Yankees now 5.5 out of the wild card. Severino on the mound for the Yankees has just been playing bad lately for most of his time that he's been available here. 4 and 5 earned runs allowed each of the last two. And Elder has shown some really good signs, but last 2 times out, 5 and 7 earned runs allowed for him. You got a 10.5 total with these two guys on the mound, which I think really is giving a lot of respect to just this Braves offense. You got I see a flat 6 at -110, so a touchdown still not getting you plus money. Yankees, obviously, offense has not been good. Maybe you think this offense can wake up and maybe Elder stays bad the same way he's been lately. I'm not trying to get in front of this Braves train, though, and they're going to regress at some point, but I have no interest in getting in front of this train right now. Severino has been really bad. I assume at some point he'll be better, but can you really trust that against this Braves team here? So I'm just going to stay far away from it. Assume that there's going to be some runs scored in this one, and the Braves will be fine, but at the end of the day, I am moving all the way past that one, and curious to see if the Yankees can pull themselves out of this rock bottom that they keep digging further into the earth into right now. So, Detroit and Minnesota, interesting one here tonight. Pitching matchup, nothing super exciting here. Ober for the Twins, 11 hits allowed in 2 of his last 3 starts, so has not been very good. A lot of regression for him lately. And this Twins offense has been pretty sporadic lately after obviously a nice stretch there. So the opportunity has been there for the Cleveland Guardians to take, cut into this deficit. Twins still only 4 games above 500 in first place there. But Detroit's here. Obviously, I've talked about Detroit's been pesky as well these last few weeks. They've gotten out of their funk, and they've been still pretty pesky as well. Lose 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox this past weekend. Actually took 3 out of 4 from Minnesota last week in Detroit. So now you've got a Twins team probably looking for some revenge here. So I will certainly lean towards the Twins winning this game. Don't know how you would get into this one. I think this could be a close game. Again, wouldn't surprise me if Bailey Ober is just flat out bad again here tonight. So I'll stay away from it, and I'll lean towards the Twins winning. But again, it would not surprise me if the Tigers are able to put up some runs here. I'm going to skip over Oakland and St. Louis. Have not been too interested in that series. Also didn't have a pitcher listed for most of the day here for Oakland here today. So moving over to Angels and Texas Rangers. Giolito and Montgomery on the mound tonight for these two teams. Giolito, a nice bounce back, for the most part, a bounce back start after an ugly one in start number 2 with the Angels. This is start number 4. Last time out, 3 hits, 3 earned runs. Kept it down to 3 hits, though, after that ugly second start. Montgomery, this is start number 3 with the Rangers. 2 earned runs in each of his last 2, and obviously the Rangers get the 12-0 win yesterday. Rangers minus 190 now. I'm typically a huge person that's a little interested in fading a team that just won 12-0, but we've obviously seen some big numbers from this Texas team. I obviously am a little biased with Lucas Giolito, still have a lot of love for him. But an 8.5 total kind of leads me to believe that this one, I'm going to go in the under 8.5 in this one. With the way Texas has been playing, I would say that it would be at least 9 if they were going to really light up the scoreboard again here tonight, or in both ways, honestly. So I'm going to go the under 8.5 on this Angels and Texas game and really just keep it moving after that one. Seattle and Kansas City. Pitching matchup, I really don't know what to make out of this one. It seems I'm another number that with the way Seattle's been playing seems a little goofy, but if you had the win with the Royals yesterday, you're taking your money and running. You're not touching this one here again tonight. Hancock versus Lyles. Lyles 3 to 5 earned runs each of his last 4. He's been the same guy for the most part. Hancock, second start of his career, debuted last week. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walk, 3 Ks. Pretty damn solid. But you never know what you're going to get in start number 2. Again, seems like a goofy number here, only minus 140 for the Mariners. Seems a bit smelly with obviously a guy in Lyles that people love to bet against, and a Mariners team that's 63-55 now. Had just had a really nice win streak, assuming that they get off of that 3-game losing streak that they've now dug themselves into. But you never know. I will lean towards this being just a fishy number. But again, had the Royals yesterday. I am taking my money and running. I don't think you want to go 2 days in a row on the Kansas City Royals there. Speaking of teams that you might not want to go 2 days in a row on, although the team they're playing is obviously ice cold, had the home team rocks yesterday. Still holding true to that theory that the home team rocks might turn things around at home and play some better ball down the stretch. Had some nice looks on it. As far as this one is concerned, Arizona and Colorado is what I'm talking about. Mantiply and Blatch for the Rockies. Going to be kind of a bullpen game for Arizona as far as I'm concerned. Blatch, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run last time. Has been respectable in transition to starter role over the last few. Rockies win 6-4 yesterday. Total was 11.5 in that one, my friends. Now we're sitting at 12.5. I'm going to go with an entertainment over on this one, over 12.5. I think they put up some runs. Blatch regresses. This Rockies team at home is able to put up some runs. So I'm going to go with a first 1-8 out of this one here, and we get a nice healthy over here in Colorado tonight. No idea if you're going to see another win for the home team Rocks or not, but I will go with a nice entertainment over on the 12.5 there. You know what? I skipped over, and we'll go back to it. The other crosstown rivalry in my neck of the woods, Chicago and Chicago. White Sox at Wrigley Field. This one is going to be on the north side. Touki Toussaint and Kyle Hendricks in this one here. Again, obviously the Cubs are playing great baseball right now. Lost the series in the Mets. Bounced back with a 2 out of 3 series win over Toronto in Toronto. 1 game out of the wild card. Tied with Cincinnati there, obviously. And 3.5 out of the NL Central behind the Brewers there. Total of 8.5 in this one. You know what? I would respect, if we're going over, I would respect at least a 9.5. The fact that we're at an 8.5 is giving me a little respect. I can see Touki Toussaint's showing some flashes. Hasn't been great lately. I think you can see him getting back into some solid play tonight, solid pitching tonight. Hendricks is always a little bit of a question mark. He's always he's been a little hit or miss against the White Sox. But I guess what I'm saying is with the way this Cubs offense has been playing against a pitcher with a 4.91 ERA that we've seen give up some runs lately, an 8.5 kind of smells like an under to me out of this game. So that's really where I'm going. I'm going to lean on a lower scoring game here in Wrigley. I think the wind is blowing in slightly. But at the end of the day, the other part of it, I wouldn't be all in on the Cubs. Again, this White Sox team, the hesitation is that the last time they were swept was right before the last series with the Cubs a couple of weeks ago. Typically this season when they've gotten swept or kind of embarrassed, they've done well in bounce-back spots with the exception of the last time they played the Cubs. So there is that caveat there, but the White Sox have been good in spots after getting swept for the most part, or maybe winning 2 out of 3. Unfortunately, this is only a 2-game series here, so I would be at least pumping the brakes on the Cubs here tonight. I think they would be a bigger money line favorite if they were going to run away with this one, but wouldn't surprise me if they won 7-4. Easy by any means, but like I said, I'm going to go with the under and at least beware on the Cubs here tonight and tomorrow. But we'll see. Baltimore and San Diego, we got 3 more left. Flaherty and Wacha. Flaherty, this is start number 3 with the Orioles. 1-3 earned runs allowed. He's been pretty good. Wacha first start since July 1st. He was fantastic in May and June and has been on the IL ever since. O's win 4-1 yesterday. But this Padres team is ugly. If anyone, they've missed anyone during the stretch, it was obviously you might have assumed some regression, but Michael Wacha maybe could have helped them in July and August here a little bit, but they are struggling right now. I respect the fact that they are a favorite here with Wacha on the mound, but yeah, I assume he's only going to go 5 innings, 70, 80 pitches and whatnot. So I don't really have too much hopes of getting into this one. Maybe you would say Flaherty, the way his season has gone, is maybe due for some regression. And obviously this Padres offense is due for something. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stay away from it. I'll lean towards the Padres offense, putting up some runs. Their team total is 4.5. So that's where I'll go out of this one. Don't know what to expect out of Wacha, though, on that side of things. So we'll stay away from that. Tampa Bay Tampa Bay and San Francisco. About to pick them in this one right now. Littell and Jacob Junis. Littell, another guy that's kind of transitioned to a starter role lately. 7 hits, 3 earned runs last time out. Hasn't been terrible in this role. Jacob Junis, 1 to 3 innings for the most part each time out. He's been solid lately. Rays win 10-2 yesterday. This Giants offense, cold lately. 3 or less runs in each of their last 5. They need to wake up right now. They're still in the wild card, but obviously you got teams knocking on the door. If they continue some cold stretch, they are going to find themselves on the wrong side of this wild card race. I really don't know how to make out of this one, though. I am going to be a believer that this Giants team is going to get out of their funk. And despite the news that came out yesterday about the Rays, their offense obviously showed up and put up 10 runs yesterday, so their team is not blinking as far as the Wander Franco news there. So I really don't know what to make out of this one. I will lean towards the Giants getting back in the win column here, but it really wouldn't surprise me if the Rays were as solid as they need to be here and get the win there. So I'll stay off of it, but I'll lean towards the Giants getting the win. Last one up, Milwaukee and the Dodgers. I believe both these two teams were off yesterday. You've got Hauser on the mound for the Brewers, Miller on the mound for the Dodgers. Was really good last time out. 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs for the Dodgers. He showed some flashes in his young rookie season here. Hauser, 5 hits, 4 earned runs last time out. But this Dodgers team is on an 8-game win streak. Brewers did sweep the White Sox over the weekend. I believe they got a 4-game win streak of their own right now. So I'm not really sure what to make out of this one. You've got a minus 215 line for the Dodgers here. A flat 9 on the total. Maybe I'm going to the over. I really don't have much of a feel for this one. I haven't had had much action on these Dodgers games for the most part there, so I don't really know what to make of it there. This Brewers team has obviously been good these last couple of months, but after a 4-game win streak, they typically regress a little bit. So I'll lean towards. I don't know which way I'm leaning as far as the win in this one. I'm not going to the Dodgers, because I think I've seen Miller have some regression starts, so that's kind of where I'm leaning. Is Miller maybe regressing a little bit? But at the end of the day, I kind of think this is going to be a 5-4 game either which way, and it's going to be an exciting one down the stretch. So unfortunately, that's how we're closing it. No fireworks to close things out, but we did give you some nice looks here today as far as the baseball slate is concerned. And without further ado, we've got nothing else going on. Stay tuned the rest of the week. We'll have some golf coverage coming your way tomorrow as far as the BMW Championship is concerned. Going to be a really fun weekend on the golf links. Just south of Chicago, you've got obviously Rory and Scotty as the favorites to win this one. But we're going to have plenty of fireworks, and I can't wait for that one. And then obviously stay tuned for any UFC talk that's going to be happening leading up to this weekend's fights. And then I'm sure we'll have some more NFL talk each and every day here, and probably some more college football talk as well. So thank you all for stopping by. Appreciate you having fun with me this Tuesday afternoon, and I will see y'all tomorrow.